This will be for the con assignment, interpret probabilities of compound events. Okay, so contestants on a game show spin a wheel with 24 equally sized segments. Most of those segments show different prize amounts, but 2 of them are labeled bankrupt. Okay, so that's the B right there. Suppose that a contestant is going to spin the wheel twice in a row. Here are some events and their meanings. Okay, so here's a list of events and their meanings. All right. So consider this probability. They're just giving you a formula here. What does probability of B1 and B2 represent in this context? I suggest you try to figure this out before you go to your multiple choices. Okay, so B1 and B2, probability of B1 and B2, I would interpret that as, here's B1. The first spin lands on bankrupt, and the second spin lands on bankrupt, right? Because there's an and right there. So I interpret this as the first and second spin lands on bankrupt. Let's see. So the probability that neither spin lands on bankrupt? No, definitely not A. B is the probability that both land on bankrupt. And C and D both have the given probability, okay? But the given portion is this symbol right here. That's this part of the equation. They didn't ask for this one, though. They asked for this one on the left, probability of B1 and B2. Okay, so that's the probability that both land on bankrupt. All right, so nothing to calculate, you're just interpreting. Standard deck of 52 cards has 13 clubs, 13 diamonds, hearts, and spades. Suppose Anya is going to draw 2 cards without replacement. Here are some events and their meanings. Okay, so they listed each event right here and the meaning of each one. They give you the equation. What does probability of H1 and H2 represent in this context? Okay, H1 and H2, the first card is a heart and the second card is a heart. So it's probably going to say in the choices, the first 2 cards selected are hearts. Okay, the given portion is right here. So they asked for this side of the equation, not this. So just ignore this part, okay? It's going to probably say the first 2 cards are hearts. Let's see. Part B, the probability that, answer B, the probability that both cards are hearts, okay? C and D both have the given in the answer, so that's not it. All right, so most of these you probably don't even have to read the write-up. Okay, they just give the events right here. Suppose that Youssef is going to shoot 2 free throws. Here's the equation. What does probability of S1C and S2C represent in this context? Okay. So we're looking at this right here. S1C, he misses the first shot. S2C, he misses the second shot. So this means that he misses both shots. Let's see. A is makes both shots. B is misses both shots. So it has to be B. Okay, C and D have the given, so it can't be either of them. All right, so this one looks like one we already had, but this one asks a different question this time. Okay, we still have the wheel. All right, suppose a contestant spins the wheel twice in a row, and here are the events. So they give you the equation, and what does probability of B2 given B1C represent? Okay, so we have to look at what we're given here. B2 is the second spin lands on bankrupt, and B1C is the first spin does not land on bankrupt. So this right here That means the probability that the second spin lands on bankrupt, given that the first spin does not land on bankrupt. Okay, this slash here means given, or given that. Okay, so B2, second spin lands on bankrupt. Given that B1C, the first spin does not land on bankrupt. First does not. Okay, so look for that choice. Probability that the second spin is bankrupt given that the first does not. So skip the first two. A is neither, B is both. Okay, look for the ones that say given. Probability that the first lands on bankrupt given that the second does not. How about D? Probability that the second lands on bankrupt given that the first does not. Okay, that's what we said. So it's answer D. All right. So if you see, basically these are mostly the same. If you see the one with the given symbol, then look for the choices with given in the choice. All right. But if they ask for one or the other, or I'm sorry, if they ask for something and something, then look for the one with neither or both in the choices. Okay. Last one here. Probability of, what does probability of S2 given S1C represent? Okay, S2 is that the second card is not a spade, and it's given that the first card is not a spade. I'm sorry, S2 is that it is a spade, given that the first one is not a spade. Okay, so go to the given answers. Second card is a spade. First card is not a spade. Okay. Second card is a spade, given the first card is not a spade. Is that what we said? Second card is a spade, given that first card is not a spade.